What's going on, YouTube? Down in the Deep South, college football is a way of life, and the battle cry on the plains of Auburn is War Eagle. Once again, it's Kennard Vernon Stewart here for the podcast, talking a little Auburn football as Auburn comes into Week 5, the number 7 team in the country, coming off of a nice road win against Texas A&M, 28-20. Go ahead and like this video, comment, and subscribe to Vernon Speaks Sports Auburn. It's always great to be an Auburn Tiger, War Eagle. Now, Auburn, obviously, in somewhat of their own driver's seat, so to speak. If they win out, let the chips fall as they may. We don't know what will happen within the next few weeks. We do know that based on everything that we've seen so far in, weeks 1, 2, 3, 4, that although Auburn is a 4-0 team, have a conference win on the road under their belt, positioned to really show some improvement down the stretch, I think now that we see it, and now that we've seen some other teams play, obviously just from the outside looking in, a manageable gauntlet. That gauntlet is starting to not be a gauntlet anymore. But we'll see within the next few weeks. Auburn takes on Mississippi State, a team that pretty much dominated them on both sides of the football field last year, most notably time of possession and the amount of yards that Mississippi State was able to roll up by way of the run-pass option, by way of time of possession to where the defense was just on the field for an ungodly amount of time. Auburn seeks to redeem that particular game this year as Mississippi State comes to Jordan-Hare Stadium this coming weekend. One thing to note, though, each week we talk about true freshman quarterback Bo Nix. Each week we're wanting to see more from Bo Nix. Now, this is not a Bo Nix versus Joey Gatewood video because I'm off that kick, because I'm starting to see what Gatewood's role is going to be. I think the Auburn coaching staff is sold on the ability and the potential of Bo Nix. I think at this point, it's really, really time to start cashing in, though. Now, back in 2013, I think it was like game 7 or 8, somewhere around there, Auburn really began to see what their offense looked like, ironically, taking the trip to Texas A&M. I think this year's Texas A&M game can serve the same purpose for Auburn and quarterback Bo Nix, because I think Auburn really started to see what their offense could look like down the stretch, could look like as far as blocking schemes. I saw a lot more versatility with the blocking schemes. I saw a lot more versatility with the play calling and somewhat even execution. What I would like to see, honestly, is I want to see Bo Nix really take command and start making those wide open throws. Start making the throws that are basically given to him. And that's really right now the difference between Bo Nix being, say, somewhat of a mediocre quarterback statistically and being one of the more elite quarterbacks, true freshman-wise, statistically, like your Jalen Hurts or your Tua Tagovailoa or Trevor Lawrence, or whoever you want to compare Bo Nix to. But I think the fan base would agree that it's time to get a little bit more comfortable for Bo Nix as far as running this particular offense. I don't think there's any urgency to replace him with Joey Gatewood, but I just think the confidence that he has, the poise that he has, I think it's time to match that up with the result. And right now, on a high level, Bo Nix is just not getting the desired result that we expected based on what we saw of him coming out of high school, garnishing pretty much every award possible. We're ready to see that translate into Power 5 play, and we see shades of it. I think that's what makes, people just very anxious about Bo Nix, is that they see shades of it. They see the fact that he can do the run-pass option. He makes some very good decisions in the run-pass options. Now, one thing I can say with Bo Nix in this particular offense, when Gus Malzahn goes perimeter run-pass option early, it loosens the defense up. You remember Auburn really struggled against Oregon, against Tulane, trying to establish a running game in the B and the A and B gaps, even sometimes in the C. But what happened is, Auburn took some notes from the Clemson game and saw how Clemson attacked the perimeter against Texas A&M to have some success, to loosen some things up, and next thing you know, Clemson wins that game 24-10. Same way with Auburn. They did the exact same thing. Texas A&M had some vulnerabilities on the edge. Auburn attacked it. So they did what I thought they needed to do going into that game and taking an outside-in approach. That's pretty much in college football what you have to do, because these defensive linemen, college football teams, especially on the Power 5 level, are really, really taking notes and knowing the fact that, hey, we got to recruit some very, very good defensive linemen. And in doing this, it's going to force things at the initial onset of the game. It's going to force you outside. And unfortunately, a lot of college football teams don't have the personnel to be able to, really, really hold down the edge. So what it does is it opens up the edge, and then it gets things off balance to where teams can run up the middle, i.e. the Boobie Whitlow touchdown late in the Texas A&M game after they pretty much, if you look at the posture of the Texas A&M defense, they were absolutely defeated. Even though the game was still, pretty close, 21-3 was, I think, the biggest lead of the game. But the Texas A&M team looked dejected. They looked overpowered. They looked dominated. They looked bullied in that particular football game. And that's something that Auburn is definitely going to want to carry over into this week, coming into a Mississippi State team who has some athletic abilities. One thing, some very, very profound athletic abilities. One thing to note is Mississippi State is a very opportunistic team. They've scored 38 points off of turnovers this year. When you talk about a true freshman quarterback, you talk about inexperience, ball protection is key. Had some fumbles earlier. Matter of fact, Harold Joyner put the ball on the ground early in the game. Luckily, Auburn was able to recover, because those are the types of things that, say, when we look at Auburn versus Mississippi State in 2014, that was one of the keys to that particular football game, 2 early turnovers for the Auburn Tigers, and Auburn pretty much having to play catch-up on the road against a very, very inspired Mississippi State team who I believe came into that game either number 2 or number 3, maybe even number 1 in that game. Turnovers turned out to be the great equalizer in that particular football game. Now back to Bo Nix. It's just time for Bo Nix to start setting his feet, start utilizing his fundamentals that he's learned as a quarterback, get away from the whole, I want to be an Auburn great thing. Get away from the whole, I got to make a monumental play every time I step onto the field. It's time that part of his career, he has to leave that behind. He already has the big play against Oregon. He already has the nice touchdown against Texas A&M with Seth Williams. Now it's time for Bo Nix, if he's going to do it. It's time for Bo Nix to really settle in and play football. Outside of the distractions, we know your dad played football at Auburn. We know you went to the national championship game and met Cam Newton and were around the program, and now this is your big stage. That part of, if Bo Nix is going to progress, he has to get rid of that particular moment of his career and go ahead and play solid football. Play sound football. Don't make moments bigger than what they really are. Because I think that's what Bo Nix is doing. He wants to have a Auburn great highlight reel play every time he goes out. Now it's time to chip away and play real football if you're Bo Nix. I think Auburn has an excellent opportunity going into this particular Mississippi State game, just like against Texas A&M. I think Auburn has recruited better. I think Auburn has obviously overlapping experience dating back to 2015, 16, 17, 18, Marlon Davidson, Derek Brown, Nick Coe, now Christian Tutt, Smoke Monday, Joey Gatewood. Joey Gatewood actually is a very, very reliable source coming from the sideline, especially in goal line situations. So far, Auburn is 63% in red zone situations. And that's an improvement from last year, but Auburn wants to do a little bit more. And in order for Auburn to do a little bit more, I think Joey Gatewood needs to continue to be active in the red zone, because he's been a sure shot since he's, kind of come in on Wildcat situation. He's basically been dead on the money. So here we are, week 5, Auburn versus Mississippi State. Another one of those hot seat games for Gus Malzahn. Definitely have to win this football game. You can't win a big game against Texas A&M and then come back home to Mississippi State, play inconsistent, play unfocused, and lay an egg. The good news for Gus Malzahn is he has the type of squad, I believe, that they have a tunnel vision feel to them, to where they're not looking ahead to Florida. They are looking at this Mississippi State game as an opportunity to improve. Go ahead and like this video, comment, and subscribe to Vernon Speaks Sports Auburn. Talking a little bit about Bo Nix, talking about the opportunities that Auburn has ahead. Hope you guys enjoy this one. We got some more stuff coming along today. Just wanted to hit the Auburn football sports talk here early this morning. And as always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger, War Eagle.